I want to thank everybody for joining me. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Linda, and I'm from Rise Mindset and Performance, and I'm absolutely delighted to be here this afternoon to give you a short mini training, short and mini, yeah, both small, in sales. And my aim is to help you. Well, Denise is here. Help me understand sales. Very good. My aim is to help you. Maybe you're sitting at the end of the week and you're like, haven't just quite met the sales I'd like to reach. Or maybe you're working on till Saturday and Sunday, whatever it is that you do. Hopefully, this will inspire you to take the extra step, because you'll have a little bit more understanding and awareness. You can catch those last wee sales for the week. How does that sound? Yeah. Who's ready for more sales? Me. If ever there was a girl who likes to get more sales in her life, I am her. And I am sure some of you guys are too. Now, sorry, I'm just going to close some of my windows. My computer's running very slow. I've got too many windows open. Anybody else like me? Too many windows open on their computer at the same time? That is me. There we go. Hopefully the computer will not type over. So we want more sales. And sales are good, okay? Just a little background. Every day I get up, and as a mentor, as a mindset mentor, every day I get up and I ask for guidance, and I ask, how can I help somebody today? How can I help somebody today? Now, Fridays are usually my CEO days, so I don't usually have any calls. And I work, when I say CEO day, I mean I work on my business. I'm not working in my business doing admin and things. I work on my business. Something very different. I teach my clients this, because a lot of people don't know this. So when I asked, how can I help somebody today? Because I knew I wasn't speaking to anybody today. So how can I help them? This mini training came to my mind. And my sales course starts next week. It's called Rise in Revenue, and it's £333. And I know for some people, that's not in their budget. And that's okay. So perhaps for you, this is for you. And this is how I can help you, which I am absolutely delighted about. What I want to ask you. Now, by the way, feel free to take notes, write things down, absorb all the goodness. Would you agree with me that most people in business would like to make more sales? I think so. That makes sense. We all want to make more money. We all want to make more sales. And in this little mini training, I want to talk about 3 areas of sales that I believe, when you get clarity on, is going to help you move towards sales today. So don't just watch this video and grab a coffee and get back to your work or whatever it is. Sit and think after this. Think, really think, right, what can I do today to achieve another sale or bring me closer to another sale? Because everybody's in different businesses. Some people are in product-based businesses. Know loads about that. And also service-based business usually is one of the two. So that journey from selling to sale is different. So what can you do to get yourself a new sale today, or bring you closer to that sale? Now, even the word sale, it's a little bit gross, isn't it? We're all kind of sick of the word. It doesn't really feel good. So I'll change this around and call it a little mini money-making session or a little money-making training. Sounds so much better. Sales is such a bad kind of stigma around it, doesn't it? Because it's connected with money and pushiness and grossness and, you know, being put out of your comfort zone and you put in a position where you feel like you have to buy something. Like, nobody likes to have to do anything, really. And not just when it comes to sales. Like, nobody wants to have that feeling, oh, I have to do this. Okay, because if it feels like a trade, it doesn't feel like a nice smooth exchange. Now, I know some of my clients here are watching, and my friends, if you're watching too, my friends know me as the cha-ching girl. And this is a thing. I have notifications on my phone. So when I get a sale through, it goes cha-ching. So like your phone would ring or it'd beep when you get a text. When I get a sale, oh, better make sure my phone's actually on silent. It goes cha-ching. And it's just been something I, about 3 or 4 years ago, I got really into, and it's become a whole thing. Even so much so, if, say, for example, my husband and I were sitting and we were having a discussion about something, because we're both in business and we like to kind of have a chat and like thrash out some ideas. We're really never looking for each other's opinions, to be honest, because that's the type of people we are. We just like to talk about what we're doing. And whenever we discuss something and the ching comes through my phone, I always say that's when the truth has been told, or that the universe concurs with what I'm saying or he's saying. And it makes us laugh all the time. So that's what I want you guys to experience. I want you guys to hear more cha-ching. I want to hear the phone cha-chinging. I want to see those emails pinging. I want to see the cash register ringing. Whatever it is that makes that cha-ching, let's do it for you. Because see, for me, you might think every time I hear cha-ching, I'm like, woo, I made more money. That's part of it. And it's only a small part of it. And when you have, when you get into personal development and you have a growth mindset, you move beyond the money. For me, every time that I make a sale, it's an opportunity for me to make someone's life easier. Whether that's I'm selling a product or a program or a service, that's really what it is for me. And I want you to write this down on a pen and paper if you've got it there. And if you don't, write it on your computer, write it on your phone. What do your sales mean to you? Just write that question down. You can come back and answer it later. What do your sales mean to you? It's really important that you connect with that. Beyond the money, what do your sales mean to you? And this is where sexy, fun sales comes in. Okay, this is where the magic starts to fall down, sprinkle over everything. Okay, what do your sales mean to you? Write that question down. After this call, come back to it, sit down, spend some time and think, like, what do my sales mean to me? Now, for some people, it might mean literally meeting your bills, being able to pay the rent, being able to pay yourself. Maybe it's being able to say yes to your kids instead of no. And depending where you are in your business and how it's going, it might mean for you that you don't have to go and look for a job or employment elsewhere. You don't have to give up your dream and go and get a job when your dream was to leave your job. That's a big one with business owners. Definitely would be like the worst thing I could ever imagine. So we'll not even talk about it. But what do your sales mean to you? Okay. I've been selling in business. I've been a business owner. So I've been in sales as a business owner for, this is my longest job to date, for over a decade, 12 years, over a decade. And there's one thing that I know for sure, without a doubt. People think they are selling, but they're actually not. And then they don't make any sales. People think that they're selling, but they're not. And you might say, Linda, that sounds crazy. How can they not know that they're selling? Buckle in, peeps. Settle into your chairs. Listen up, okay? So people think that they're selling, then guess what happens? They don't make the sales, or they're not making those consistent sales. Things are very, they don't know where things are coming or going. Okay? They don't know where the next sale is coming from. I have been making sales, and this is not to show off, by the way. This is just to show what you can do when you even take on these 3 steps I'm going to show you. Okay? I've been making multiple sales every single day for the last 6 or 7 years. I tried to go back and find out, but I was taking too much time when I was preparing for this. Every single day I've heard cha-ching multiple times. Every day. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, they're not coming in every hour, but they're coming in every day, okay? What would it mean to your business if you had sales like that every single day? Okay, so what's the difference between somebody making sales every single day and somebody not making sales every single day? And I'm gonna go more into that. There's so many people think that they're selling, then they're not making the sales, then they decide, because they're looking at the evidence on the outside, that they're bad sellers. They're not good at selling. And then it leads them to question everything they've built. Because I know there are people out there who have literally poured their heart and soul into their business, into creating products, into providing a service. And I know without a doubt that they 1,000,000% believe and know with certainty that what they have to offer will benefit someone else on this earth. So it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking when they don't realize they're not actually selling. Then they don't make the sales that they need to run that business and continue to provide that service. Then they start to think that they're not good sellers. I remember years ago when I started off making jewelry. This is where I started off, 2010. I started making jewelry. Every business I ever created was to solve a problem. So the problem I was trying to solve then in 2010 was to create wedding jewelry and accessories for myself for my wedding that was coming up later that year, because I couldn't find anything I liked anywhere else. And I've always been very handsy. My mother was a seamstress. My daddy was a craft joiner. You know, we had magic of our hands in our genes. So I went about making my own jewelry. I actually packed in my job, my corporate job to make jewelry. So I made my own jewelry. And then it evolved and it developed. But I remember standing at craft stalls and not making many sales and thinking, oh, is the stuff that I'm making not nice? Do people not like it? You know, am I not good at this? Should I have left my job? Have I made the right decision? It doesn't really inspire you to move forward. Thank goodness for my husband. He always told me, and this is one of the things I always accredit to my success as well, is having someone who's got your back and who's always supporting you. That's what I love, why I work as a mentor, because it's amazing. It's transformational having someone there saying, you can do this, you can do this. And he always used to say to me, Linda, I'm your biggest fan. Sure, you know, I'm your biggest fan. So it didn't matter if I didn't say anything. I still had a fan. I still had a fan. People aren't selling. They think that they're selling. They're not making the sales. Then they think they're not good sellers. Okay. But here's my bold statement. If you come to any of my seminars, my masterclasses, anything that I do, I love to make a bold statement. I'm very, very excited about this one. We were born sellers. We were born sellers. From that first moment, we came out of our mother's womb and we cried, we sold. Okay? You sold. As a baby, we all cried to get our parents' attention, and we eventually, as soon as they figured out what we wanted, because they're not very good, they're not very good at providing us what we wanted at times, because there was no communication, which is also another important part of selling. We eventually got what we wanted. And we were pretty consistent in our goal. So born sellers. Every time you buy your child a toy, you've been sold. Every time you've put multiple things down for your pet to eat because they've decided they're not going to eat the first one, you've been sold. Your dog is selling you. Your kids are selling you. Your pets are selling you. It's not just the person at the door. It's not just the person behind the computer screen selling you. We're being sold to all the time and we don't even realize it. It just feels different in different scenarios. And that's the whole reason why I set up Rising Revenue, because I want sellers to feel comfortable selling their way, because it's going to literally change how their sales come into their business. So let me know in the comments, who's shocked to know that they were a born seller? And actually, I want you to write in the comments, let's own this now. I was born a great seller, because you were. If you're still here, alive and kicking, it's mean that you have got all your needs met because you've sold a circumstance, a situation that needed help. I was born a great seller. Pop that in the comments, or even write it down in your book if you don't want to write in the comments, but own that now. There we go, Lisa. I was born a great seller. Lisa was born a great seller. I'm so excited to see what happens for Lisa. There's Brenda, good woman, born a great seller. Okay? We're all born great sellers. This is what selling is. And this is really, trust me, I've read all the boring books, and I'll go into that later. I've read all the boring sales books. I've done lots of sales training. I've been in business. I've had the trial and error. Trust me, I've done all the things. Okay? And I'm sure there's many more to come. And I'm okay with it now. I actually love selling. I love selling. And that's what I want you guys to fall more in love with. And that's what I want for my students from Rising Revenue to really fall in love with. This is really what selling is for me. And for most people, I believe. Selling is, number one, capturing somebody's attention. Okay? You got to capture somebody's attention. It's a bit like, when you're going out looking for a guy or a girl, you got to capture their attention. Okay? So it's how you're presented. And then you're going to show them how you can solve a problem for them that either saves them time, money, or both. And because I think a lot of people miss this out, they just think, oh, as long as they find the problem and then they sell from pain points. Don't even get me started on that. If you've heard that jargon before, pain points, delete it from your mind. That's not what I'm going to be teaching in Rising Revenue, because I don't believe selling from a pain point is empowering. And that's why you feel gross and icky about your sales. Okay? You want to be selling in a place of joy. You want to be selling from a place of happiness. So we're capturing the attention of someone. We're showing them how we can solve a problem, which is either saving them money or making them money. So it's something to do with money, and saves them time, because that's what most people want, money and time. Okay? And if you're not going to make them more money, they want to save money. But everybody wants more time. But above all else, above everything else, absolutely everybody in this world, without a doubt, wants to be happier. We are joy seekers. We want happiness, and happiness is really, really important. And then, just before we go, yeah, we know how to sell, run off, you got to show them where to buy, okay? You have to pretend nearly like no one's ever visited a website before. Not everybody knows what a link in bio is. And if I'm saying these things and you're like, what is that? Don't worry. Show them where to buy. Remember, you're like feeding a baby. Feed a little baby, okay? These are some examples of what selling is not, okay? And I see this all the time. People posting like a cute little quote, especially if they're like, for me in the coaching industry. That's not selling, okay? Or maybe you've got a product and you're saying, you need this in your life. That's not selling. Where do you buy it? Where's the happiness? Where's the time or money reward? And the other thing you need to understand about human beings is we're actually really lazy. Our attention span, we make fun of goldfish, but literally we're not much better. Goldfish has about 3 seconds memory. We've got about 8 seconds of attention span before you lose us forever. Okay? We're really lazy when it comes to thinking. And we're really lazy when it comes to thinking is because thinking actually burns calories. I say this to my clients all the time. When you think, you feel tired. Okay. And the very nature of human beings is, outside of money is we want to save energy. Okay. So you got to be really clear on what you're doing. You got to make it really easy for them to buy too. I want to share now 3 areas I think are really going to help you. Now, I hope you've got so much value from this so far. And how do we giggle too? Because there's nothing better than having a wee laugh at ourselves. The first one is, and this is actually the word that I've given my clients as like their mantra for the year. Okay, especially if they're in business. And even if they're not in business, when it comes to developing their personal development and continuing that journey and their study and everything that they do, this is the word. It is consistency. Burn that in your mind. Write it on your page, circle it, highlight it, stick it up on your wall above your computer. So you're like, consistency. Let it be just burnt in your mind. If you want to make consistent sales, you got to show up consistently. Okay? Every day of sales means you've got to show up every single day in some way, shape, or form. And that's a no matter what. Okay? Now you're going to feel this. This consistency, this effort is going to take up your energy. And your brain is going to ache. So it will. It is going to ache because you're constantly thinking. But trust me, like anything, when you create a habit of selling, it becomes easier. It becomes less effort. Okay? Now go back to, remember what that sales, making those sales means to you. Okay? What feels harder? Not being able to pay your mortgage, or showing up and spending 5 minutes really thinking about a post or an email or a phone call you could make with a customer? What feels better? Debt collectors coming and knocking at your door, or putting yourself out there with a little bit of thought, with a little bit more intention, rather than just flinging something out? Sales is not about spaghetti, like throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. Now, that's what you call like testing, but like when you're doing it all the time, and you're going to know what's going to work. You'll get better at it, trust me. Okay? What do your sales mean to you? Not worrying about bills. Being able to invest in maybe some sexy new equipment that's going to save you time and make your life easier. When you feel like consistency is starting to like, you feel the resistance, ask yourself the question, what feels worse? Not being able to send my child on the school trip, or showing up and spending 15 minutes really thinking about something intentional and valuable to a customer, or maybe reaching out to a customer or a past customer, whatever it is. What's easier than, for me, I've got 4 animals. What would be so hard for me if I couldn't afford to send them to the vet? That would be devastating to me. Or what's harder? Not being able to send them to the vet when they need care, or not showing up, even when I'm feeling tired, showing up and helping somebody, giving somebody value, selling my services. When you break it down like that, it makes so much difference to how you think about it. Okay? But consistency is that word. And that word actually came to me at the very start of the year. And a lot of the things that I learned all come through life experience. So my husband, he owns a restaurant, and he describes himself as middle of the road. So he's not the most expensive and he's not the cheapest. He's a place where you get your chicken goujons and your steaks and a couple of your favorite Italian pasta, Italian dishes. That's the kind of place that he is, But he's been doing really well. And it's not a surprise to me. But for a short time at the start of the year, he was starting to think, why is it that he was doing better than others when other people in the same industry were struggling? And this is what happens sometimes, it's like, how, not everybody struggles in the same industry, only some people. And it's all about your mindset. Okay, so he's doing better than ever before. Now you might say, but Linda, he's got a mindset mentor for a wife. He's got one up. Trust me, he doesn't listen to me half time. He is my most difficult client that I have. He's not even a client because he doesn't pay me. So that's not it, okay? We looked at it and we had a chat about it. And the word, just my little download ping came to me, it was consistency. And he is consistent in what he does, no matter what. The consistency of the food, the service, the cleanliness of the place, everything is consistent. He doesn't change his opening hours. Okay? Everything is consistent. You know, he's not turned his heating down because he's trying to save money in heating. If the place needs heat, it needs heat. He's consistent in everything. And for some people, that can be very difficult because, you know, they come from a lack mindset and they're trying to, you know, to scrape back money. Trust me, if you rob somebody else, you're going to have to rob somebody else to pay them. And it just becomes, you'll see it, how your business can just literally just be eaten away. So it's consistency. And one of the things actually we talked about was, and actually I've heard this before, and people say this, oh goodness, the service was really good even though it was really busy. The service should be good regardless. Okay? Never say that about a place. It was really good and it was busy. Because maybe you've been somewhere before and you haven't had great service and you've, you know, said, oh, but they were busy, that's okay. No, that's not okay. They're actually doing you a service. Okay? When you go somewhere like that, it's up to them to provide enough staff to serve the amount of people in that room. If they're not able to do that, they have actually damaged their business, because when you oversell and you're trying to make money, this is where making too much money in your business, when you don't have the structure to support it, it's actually bad for business. You let too many customers in at once and you can't serve them all. Not everybody's going to be happy, but not everybody's going to be forgiving as well. So that's a really, like, there's like a really slight shift on how things can change. Okay, so consistency, showing up at the same times, delivering the same thing every time, whatever it is that you're doing, but do it all the time. Consistency is the key. I cannot stress that enough. Write that down on your page. Let me know you've written it down. Write consistency in the comments. See when I ask you to do things like this in the comments, it makes me know that you're listening. You'll actually take in more information when you participate. Okay? Consistency. The next one is education. A good salesperson, I've just looked at Brenda, a good woman, a good salesperson, a good anybody person, regardless of what you do, never believes they know it all. Okay? They know that there's always more to learn when they're learning, because things are always things are always changing. Okay? If you think you know it all, you're lost. That is your ego stopping you from moving forward. Okay? A good salesperson never believes they know it all. I don't know it all. I know a good for a bit, and I'm very confident about teaching this to you guys, but I don't know it all. There's still plenty of boring sales books out there for me to read. So there is. And this story, when I was writing up my notes for this actually happened today. One of my clients from Rise Academy came in, texted me and says, I've just won a £15,000 tender, which I'm absolutely delighted about. And let me ask you, if there was a £15,000 tender that you could apply for, would you apply for it? Or would you say, I've never won that, or I'm not good enough to fulfill that criteria? £15,000, that's someday. Now, this same client has also enrolled into Rising Revenue, my 6 weeks Feel Good sales course, because she knows you never know it all. My mentor, Bob Proctor, never knew it all. Always wanted to learn. There's always so much to learn. Do not think you know it all. Trust me, you'll be lost. I don't know everything about sales, but I can tell you something. Anybody who enrolls in Rising Revenue will never feel the same way about sales again. Now, I'm hoping I'm already changing your thoughts and feelings. Let me know, are you starting to feel a wee bit different about sales? Are you maybe feel a bit more confident, or maybe you don't feel as gross about them? Like, let me know, how are you starting to think and feel about sales? Are you feeling more positive about them? So if you are just feeling more positive, just write positive. Or maybe you're more curious about sales, or maybe you're more excited about sales, about going after those sales. Let me know. I'd love to know how you're feeling about this before I share the last juicy tip. Okay. We've got consistency. We've done education. Gotta learn. And that is, yeah, and positive. I need to show up more consistently. That, like, honestly, if you show up more consistently, even if you don't learn anything else and you just show up every day for 30 days more consistently, that's going to make an improvement. Each one of my students in Rising Revenue will be starting to sell from the first day, straight in, even without even watching any of the training. That's what they're doing, because I know you got to get in the action. You got to get in that movement to build that momentum. And sometimes you've got to do it before you're even ready. So even before they've learned anything, they're all in. Lisa says, feeling more excited and a little bit scared, if I'm honest. Lisa's only scared because it's me. She knows how I love to push people out of their comfort zone. But yes, it's going to be so much fun. So what's the third thing? Again, a lot of stuff you're hearing this going, that makes perfect sense. But are you really thinking? What are you selling? This is the third thing. What are you actually selling? That is my question. What are you actually selling? And I want you to write that question down and go back to it later. What am I selling? Okay? Because what you think you're selling and what you're actually selling, and you're like, oh, Linda, you're not going there again. What I think and what I'm actually, what you think you're selling and what you're actually selling could be 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 totally different things. Now, I hope you're all sitting down. You're like, what is she talking about now? Let's say, for example, and this is this example I came up with. Say you sell coffee, okay? Because it doesn't matter what you do, what business you're in, because everybody that's coming into Rising Revenue, I've been sending them a questionnaire. I know exactly what business they're in. I know exactly what they want to sell, and I know exactly what kind of money they want to make. So everybody's going to get, as much as I can possibly, a tailored solution. So there'll be an example like this for somebody who's coming in, who's got a cafe or a coffee booth or whatever it is. Say you sell coffee. And you think, well, I sell coffee. Coffee's coffee, right? Coffee's a product you're selling. But you're also selling that feeling of what it is to have a little hit of caffeine. For all you coffee lovers out there, it's not always just about the taste. We love that little buzz we get when the caffeine kicks in. You're also maybe selling the benefit of being able to grab a hot drink to warm yourself up. Okay. You also are maybe selling a person a 5-minute break. You know, the 5 minutes it takes to drink their coffee, maybe they go and they sit in the park for a while, or they get themselves, you know, a quiet moment and they just sit and like defuzz their afternoon. It's not just the coffee. Okay. And this is what I'm going to get my customers. That's what I'll be going deeper into in Rising Revenue, is the real psychology of customers and going deeper into what it is you're actually selling, because it's always more than you think. And then when you're trying to think of ways to sell, when you know of everything that you sell really clearly, that's when sales get easy. Okay. That's when your brain doesn't start to ache as much. We're so trained just to go surface level and stop, because emotions and feelings they're uncomfortable. They make us feel uneasy, and especially if you're from Northern Ireland, my goodness, we're probably the worst. And especially if you're guys, sorry to throw you all in the same box, but you know, us ladies are far more in touch with our emotions than guys, I find anyway. But you're selling so much more than a product and service. There's so much more to that. So those are the 3 things I want to share with you. We've got consistency, we've got education, and then we've got what is you actually selling. And you can go back, the first question I asked was, what do your sales mean to you? So if you didn't write that down, like put that note in your paper in front of you or your notebook and really think about that question, like what do What does making sales in your business mean to you? Okay. Yes, we love that money. Yes, we love the opportunity to invest in sexy new equipment that makes our life easier. Yes, we love to be able to pay our rent and our bills and all those things. And then I shared with you, for me, one of my personal things is that it gives me an opportunity to make someone's life a little bit easier, even if it's just a small thing. Okay. It gives me that opportunity. And write those two questions down and really ask yourself. Let me see, Denise. I, as a total novice, I love these concepts beyond a product, never just what the external shows. Absolutely. And that's such the ethos of like everything that I teach is everything is within. There, for those of you who are, and this, I will be sharing this in Rising Revenue, but for those of you who are mindset orientated and love to learn about the universal laws, one of the big, massive, important universal laws when it comes to selling is the law of cause and effect. It has so much to do with your success around sales. So I hope you've really enjoyed this training and it really opened your mind to like, oh my goodness, I never thought of that. And if you've already enrolled, I hope it's got you, Lisa's more excited. She's already excited. The Rising Revenue Feel Good Sales course. This is about teaching you how to sell from a place that's comfortable and aligned with you, that suits your personality. Because not everybody wants to slip into people's DMs and lift the phone, like cold call. We don't, some people do, and good for them. Let them do that. But if it's not you, that's okay. Let's discover a way that really suits you and your personality. Now, and that's not you being like, oh, I don't like doing anything. I'm just going to shy away and do nothing. No. You got to grow. Growth is the name of the game. But it feels good. And see, when it feels good, it just changes so much. But for now, enjoy the rest of your Friday afternoon. Thank you so much for joining me. That was a really fun one. I hope you got a lot of value from it. And as always, I will see you again very, very soon. Bye-bye.